Here's the video no one asked for.
And what about it? A rush to bluff that stuff, just chicken knows in it reality, now what's the fuss?
So before I get into things, I finally got a room. I have a bed to sleep in. Yeah, I guess I'm laying on it right now. Yes, we're making progress. But child, I'm not getting ready for this camera, so you can cry about it. Okay, so for the last couple of months, I was a little hush-hush because I had to be. Well, I don't know if I had to be, but I was. I told not one soul. So of course I'm going to talk about my experience on the floor, and I'm not holding anything back. I should be allowed to talk about it now that I'm no longer on the show, but we're going to go with it. We're going to wing it. And no, I'm not going to disrespect anybody, so if you're expecting drama, you can leave right now. Okay, so we have to have a little preface before we get into the actual nooks and crannies of the story. So I knew of The Floor, but I never watched the first season. When the promos were coming out in October of 2023, that's when I first started seeing them. I was still in Texas, and I was in another living situation where we had cable. But then I ended up moving and I didn't have cable, and I ended up forgetting about the show anyway because my life was pretty busy with all the stuff that was going on at that time. So skipping to May, specifically May 8th. I was staying with my friend in her apartment at that time. It was a really good time. We were watching The Judge, and then out of nowhere, I got a random call from Trenton. I just thought that we were going to chat. This was not a normal chat, and things happened pretty quickly right after that. In our phone call, he was saying that he auditioned for a show that was in Ireland, and I thought it was an Irish game show. So I was like, oh, good for you. I'll watch it somewhere. But then he said that the producers were interested in me because he told the producers that we used to compete with each other because we did, and that they would be calling me within 10 minutes. So I said, okay, and I got a phone call within 10 minutes. When I got on the call with the casting director, she explained that it was The Floor and that they do film in Ireland. When she asked me what The Floor was, I was like, I don't know what that show is. Remember, I had not watched that show. I had forgot about that show at that point. So I ended up watching the show with my friend. We actually binged the show within 2 days. So I got familiar with the show. I ended up having an interview 2 days later on that Wednesday. The interview was pretty simple. She asked basic questions. We played like this very CVS version of the game. The categories that were chosen, I did not do well. I think I had presidents, world countries. No, sorry, I had world flags and presidents. World flags I can do. Presidents? Huh? I don't do the US history. I'm sorry, no. But the casting director said I did okay, so I was like, all right, you know, whatever happens, happens. She explained that I would pretty much find out if I made the show within 2 weeks, and then that was pretty much that. I didn't end up finding out that I got on the show until June 4th. So it was about like 3 to 4 weeks within that time. But whoa, let me tell you, being on TV, the amount of paperwork that you have to fill out, that background check is tedious. They were asking things that I would not even know. They were asking like, what's your roommate from college's address? Who knows that? I mean, probably my roommate because they live there, but I didn't know. That was pretty much the hardest part of the whole process altogether. Once I was on the show, everything was kind of smooth sailing from there, but like there was a good point at which I didn't hear from them for a while because I didn't really need anything from them. They didn't need anything from me. And during this time, I had moved back to New York. And moving home during that transition was just not a great experience at that time because I was processing Texas. So that's the one thing I wish were kind of different. Like I wish I wasn't processing Texas while I was preparing for The Floor. I mean, when I went, I wasn't thinking about anything from Texas. If anything, Texas did prepare me for The Floor. I was not nervous at all. About like 2 weeks before we left for filming, we had to decide what we were going to wear for the show. I was originally going to go with this outfit, but this did not fit at all. It may look like it fits, but I had hair clips hanging on in the back. So I ended up going with this, which is what I wanted in first. And of course, I didn't wear my hair wrap on television. Now, we flew out on a Friday and we got to Dublin on a Saturday at 4 in the morning. That first day, we were free to do whatever we wanted. So Trenton and I, we went down to Grafton Street. He had to do some shopping. We went eating. We walked through a church. It was fun. We also met the other contestants. Everybody was so nice. Oh my gosh. I remember talking to Angie because I sat next to her in the briefing and I was saying the amount of events that took place to get everybody in this one room must have been something. But for me, I wasn't nervous about the experience. I wasn't scared. I was excited. But yes, we had a briefing the day before we started filming. And then we also had to do a photo shoot to take our profile pictures that you see. And yes, I'm talking about this profile picture. Did you look at the hair? Let's talk about the story behind it. Now, this is no shade at all to hair and makeup because they all did their job. This was more of a lesson that I needed to learn about production and television. So when we did our photo shoot, they told us to come with our hair done. For girls, they had to come with like primer, and for guys, just leave your face bare. So I did just that. I started doing my hair about 2 hours prior to the photo shoot. It was so bad I set off the fire alarm in the hotel twice. That's right, twice. I would show you that process, but my hair is not done right now. So I ended up doing my hair. I think I have a photo of what it looked like prior to me taking my photos. Okay, so I don't have a photo of what it looked like before I did the photo shoot, but I know it was looking good. So when I got to the photo shoot room, they asked me if I needed like a touch-up or anything, and I was just like, yeah, yeah, I'll take a quick touch up. Big mistake. Lesson 1, don't let anybody who has not done your hair before do your hair. I had put heat in my hair that day. Please keep this in mind. When I asked for the touch up, she pulled out her pick, she pulled out her heating tool, she pulled out some hairspray. It was a wrap from there. My hair immediately started to revert. That's what led to this picture. This is what it looked like in better lighting. It didn't look as bad in person, but on film, no. After that day, I did my own hair. I did not let anybody touch my hair. I made sure if they asked anything hair related, I said, no, thank you, nope. So I don't know if I can go too much into depth with the filming process because I don't know if that interlocks with Fox or whatnot, but I'm gonna explain as much as I can. So our first day of filming, our call time was 6:30. So I woke up at 4 o'clock because I had to do my hair, make sure I was showered and everything like that, and also made sure that I had time to eat some breakfast. When we got to set, we sat around for about like 2 hours or so before we started getting ready for filming. Now keep in mind, everybody had to get hair and makeup done, or so I thought. I didn't mind getting my makeup done because that's kind of a given on TV, but my hair, I was like, please don't. I remember I had a really nice lady who asked if I needed hairspray. I was like, yeah, sure, I could take hairspray because as I said, if my hair hits the elements, it's gonna revert. Big mistake. So on our set, if you're getting your hair done, it needs to look exactly like the profile picture, meaning this profile picture. Within minutes, the heating tool was taken out, this wax was taken out, this hairspray was taken out. It was not looking cute. I thank God that I brought my Timo straightening brush with me to the set. Because let me tell you, the difference between my hair in episodes 1 and 2, drastic change. I thank God that I didn't have zoom ups on episode 1. My hair was looking hit. Anyway, we're filming, we're in the show. Now that is one thing I will say that I wish they would have put more commentary in because for starters, our mics were on the whole time. So everything that was being said, I think this actually started when we were in the holding area. So everything that we were saying that was getting picked up. But we were encouraged to speak into the mics that way we can get some sound bites for the show. And everybody was all for it anyways. I was for it. But I wish they would have included more sound bites into the show because there was so much that was going on behind the scenes that y'all don't know about. But pretty much everything that you saw on TV was basically what happened. There were a couple of things that you may not know happened that did happen. Like for instance, the first day filming, they already said that it's going to be the longest day because they're just testing out the game. They're making sure that all the kinks are worked out. And we had a couple of glitches on the first episode. So if we had a glitch in the middle of a duel, they shut down the whole game and we had to wait for like 10 to 15 minutes so that they can reset everything. So that kind of delayed filming in a sense, but that was expected. Now keep in mind, our filming was a week, so we were filming multiple episodes within a day. And that's all the information I'm giving you on that. Now, as far as gameplay, I felt like the randomizer was on my side a little bit too much, especially within the first couple of episodes too. I was not with it. Cause look, I wasn't trying to be the first one to go home. I'm trying to be there for about 3 episodes or more. You know, you make your cameo, you make sure your hair is nice, the essentials. Ooh, before I forget, topics. So allegedly there were topics that were not used in season 1 or recycled topics from season 1 that were used in season 2. I don't know if that's fact or fiction, but what I do know is that there are certain people that got special topics that were created for them. I was definitely one of them. Now that goes back to when we found out what our categories were going to be. We found out actually before we went to Dublin, but the producers said that the categories were chosen based off of our interviews and the questionnaire that we had to fill out. Now for me, I remember pushing for astrology because that's my expertise, hello. But my casting director said I couldn't say that I was an astrologer because then they were like, oh, well, that defeats the purpose of the game. But there are people that actually went in and that was their actual occupation, so I don't know. Anyway, so I ended up getting holistic spirituality because astrology was too niche. And honestly, there's only so much that you can use in astrology to duel that's common knowledge. Like, you gotta really want it if you put it in a duel like that. I was okay with holistic spirituality. The only thing was I didn't know what direction they were gonna take with spirituality, so it was a little hard to prepare for it. I was just honestly gonna wing it. You know, whatever happens, happens, look. So originally I was supposed to have a cameo in episode 4 because Rob actually talked to Trenton and I. We had a little segment, but I guess they didn't use that for the show. As I said, they didn't use a lot of commentary for the show, which I question why. But anyway, when I got chosen by the randomizer, I definitely cursed in that mic. Because I'll say this, for starters, I was not expecting to have to choose the topics around me. I was kind of waiting a little bit, and plus the topics that I wanted to choose were already chosen. So it does make the game more interesting, but it makes it that much more challenging too. I ended up choosing musical instruments because I'm over prepared for that topic. Well, not only was I prepared because of my albums, but Trenton grew up playing instruments instruments all the time. My cousin also played instruments, so I was prepared. It was fate. Sorry, I'm readjusting myself. I have to charge my phone. I was pretty confident within that category, but I wasn't gonna go on television and just be like, oh my god, no, I'm ready for this and whatever. The way they edited it though, I wish they would have made it more as a conversation, because it was a conversation. Because Rob was basically like, well, what makes you think that you can win musical instruments? And I was like, well, Trenton played musical instruments and I also have 11 albums. But the way the episode aired, it's as if I just blurted out, oh, I have 11 albums, so I'm ready. That's weird, okay. Also, P.S. shout out to Kara, because she's also from Long Island and I felt really at home with that duel. After the duel ended, I wanted to get off that stage immediately. So what you guys didn't see was the sweat that was rolling down the side of my face. It caught it a little on my forehead, but it was really coming down my face, and I was like, get me off this stage. The real reason was I was not trying to have my hair revert on Fox television, not my debut. But I'm glad the episode aired the way that it did when I won the duel, because I was trying to get off that stage and I was like, no, I just want to get off the stage now. Another thing I got asked a lot was why I didn't go for Pop Stars. Thinking back, I could have went for Pop Stars and I could have won the 20,000, but I was not trying to be a target. Because the way that things would have played out, I would have gotten chosen anyway. But hey, I could have went home with something. But at that time, I was thinking, no, I want to play the long game. I'm not even a threat yet, because people don't even know what direction spirituality is going to take, so I'm good. Or so I thought. P.S. to my astrology girlies, I was on a Pluto line in Dublin. Let's keep that in mind. So a little preface, that day of filming that I did my duels, I was feeling a little off, and it was probably because I was gonna get chosen, or probably just something. But my energy just felt a little off and I did not know why. But that next episode, that's where I found out why. So at the time, I didn't know that Virginia was a chaplain. And when she got chosen and she was beating Sade and she wanted to choose holistic spirituality, I was a little tight at the time. But then again, that could have been her strategy to take up half the floor. And she did good, look. But when I tell you, when she said holistic spirituality, I was not expecting her to say that, because my reaction was authentic. I will say the reaction was way better than I thought. But when I tell you, when I was in the moment, I was tight. And Trenton was laughing too. And it was during that duel that feeling of being off, that's when that started coming right back. Once she said holistic spirituality, something within me just knew. I was like, I may be going home. Now, the duel itself was not that bad looking back at it. I still don't know what yerba mate is. Eucalyptus, okay, I'll give it that, because when I did Google eucalyptus, that was the first thing that popped up. But they could have given me stacking rocks, because I definitely did say rocks. But that's just my opinion. I'm not bitter, you're bitter. But after that duel, that's when I ended up doing the confessionals for everything. That was the one thing that was backwards out of that whole process, because in my opinion, we should have done the confessionals all throughout. But anyway, so I ended up doing the confessionals, and once you're eliminated off the show, you get sent to a different hotel. And you get flown out that next day. And that's exactly what happened to me and the rest of the contestants that were eliminated on my episode. But that's when I really let my hair down and I started chatting, I started socializing when I was at that exit hotel. Because I no longer felt that pressure of being in competition mode and having to compete and everything like that. And it was not like I was over competitive and I was like, oh my god, I need to win. But when you're in that bubble, your mind is so scattered and you're having so many thoughts. At least I did. I will say, after I got eliminated off the show, I was a little saddened. I also remember Trenton crying after we wrapped filming because we were not going to see each other. It was a sad time, really. But I ended up getting close with Sade. We had a great chat that night. At the exit hotel, we all hung out in the lounge. It was a really fun time after the fact. Now, flying back to New York, I had a sketchy layover in Iceland. That airport is not finished. It's really giving apocalyptic zombie dream. I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah, that was pretty much my experience on the floor. Would I do it again? For me personally, I would love to do another project like that, but I would love to be part of the process to where I'm not competing, but still be on camera, you know? But to me, and I was telling Trenton about it, it reminded me of like the plays that I used to do in high school. Like for instance, at the top of each episode, we would come out from where the audience was sitting, and right as we were coming out, I just felt like I was on stage and I was performing a play. But yeah, I'll definitely do that again. This time around, I would not be nervous, and I will not let anybody do my hair. Oh my god, no. So yeah, that's pretty much my experience. I felt the need to share and put myself out there. Also, let's just take a moment for that jawline because it's looking chiseled, baby. This is the before and this is the after. No. You guys see that starting to revert? Child, if only you saw my hair in those confessionals. Look, the back, a mess. The front, party. All right, y'all, that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.